Today, how to stop anxiety in real time using one simple nervous system tool. Welcome to Sacred Grit, a podcast equipping men to conquer addiction and overcome inner struggles through physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines so you can become a man of honor and integrity. I'm Jason.Lyle. Now let's get to work. Today you'll learn anxiety doesn't need to be solved, it needs to be interrupted. Your body must come down before your mind can think clearly. And one tool used consistently builds control. This episode is brought to you by MMB Dentistry. What's up, my dude? Welcome back to the Sacred Grit Podcast and Gritty Wednesday, where the rubber meets the road. All right, so let's get back into this anxiety conversation and about your foot being stuck on the gas and revving your nervous system up, and those RPMs getting up there and feeling like the engine's coming apart. Here we go. Anxiety doesn't need to be solved. It needs to be interrupted. Okay. Now I use this tool and I'm going to teach it to you, but it's a tool that helps you pause, right? And I think I've taught it on here before, but I'm going to take a moment to teach it again. I call it the 90-second pause. Okay. And here's the way it works. And the way I teach it to most of my guys is to put your hands on your head and take a step back from the situation you're in. Now, if you have your hands on the steering wheel, probably don't want to do that. Or if you're in the middle of a meeting, that might not work for you. But if you're reading an email or a text message or in the middle of an argument, maybe it does. Now, once you do this physical act, or if you're able to do that physical act, you just take the deepest breath you can possibly take. And then you hold that breath for 5 seconds. Then at the end of that 5 seconds, you take another sip of air. Be a tiny one then. Hold for another 5 seconds, and then you let that air out through thinly parsed lips. Then you set a timer for 90 seconds, and you do not make any movement for those 90 seconds. Now, dude, here's what I want you to know. That is not solving your anxiety. That's interrupting your anxiety, right? You're taking a moment, you're pausing, you're going, okay, I'm feeling myself come all jacked up. And you might say, man, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, you can do it. Who cares how you look? Listen, if you're wanting to get control of your life, you're willing to do what it takes to get control of your life. It makes me think about when we first started doing CrossFit. We wanted the benefits, me and my buddy Corey, we wanted the benefits of what CrossFit would give us. And so we're willing to go through the suffering of climbing ropes and trying to walk on your hands and handstand push-ups. This is the exact same thing. It's not about how you look. It's about learning how to get control of your anxiety, because your body has to come down before your mind can think clearly, dude. You have to be able to regulate first, and then you can decide. If you decide in the midst of dysregulation, there's a very good chance that you're going to make the wrong decision, or you're going to make the same decision you've made multiple times before. So your anxiety comes up, you're all jacked and you want to kind of get away from it. And so you grab a beer, or you grab a cigarette, or you grab an Oreo, or you start looking at porn, or you get angry, or you whatever, you start doing what it takes. But this tool gives you a second to break it, and your body comes down, and then your mind can start to think clearly. Now, if you'll use this one tool consistently, you will start finding natural control, because what you're doing is you're training your mind that it can trust your body, and you're training your body that it can trust your mind. The 90-second reset becomes your anchor in any situation. And here's what you'll find is, in the beginning, you start using that tool, but after a while you go, oh, all I have to do in this moment when I'm anxious is just take a deep breath and find my breath, right? So you're not using this thing the rest of your life, although you may have to come back to it in really, anxious moments. But for the most part, once you train your body to connect to the breath, then you already know what to do when the situation gets there, right? So you're already prepared for your nervous system to regulate because you've already taught it how to regulate. So give this a try. Use it once or twice. See what you think. Deep breath, hold 5 seconds. Another sip of air, hold for another 5 seconds. Let it all out through thinly parsed lips. Set a 90-second timer where you don't make any kind of decisions, and you will start to get control of your anxiety. All right, my dude. So today you learn anxiety doesn't need to be solved. It needs to be interrupted. Your body must come down before your mind can think clearly. And one tool used consistently builds control. Thank you for listening, my dude. If you drop down in the show notes, the school platform is up. You can join for free and access the free resources that I'm putting on there on a regular basis. You can also access the nervous system regulation course for an upgrade. All the information is there. Come and join me. I'd love to see you on there in the community. All right. This episode is also brought to you by Chuck, the Chicken Man Swenson. Now, listen, let me tell you something about Chuck. Not only is he one of my best friends, but he is also the best Chick-fil-A operator, quite possibly in the world. If you find yourself in the Griffin area, stop by Chick-fil-A Griffin and see Chuck Little Nugs Swenson. All right, my dude. I will see you on Sacred Sunday.